Hello and welcome to Demystifying Divinity with Joanna and Jenny. And today we are going to talk about August 2026 energy for all 12 signs. Can you even believe we're in August?
Crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. Oh, well. As someone said to me from another dimension, crazy is your new norm now. So I guess crazy is our new norms.
Fabulous. Another dimensional message. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the theme for August. Let's see.
maybe. Yeah.
As guess what August is.
Well, I know it's the portal. It's the Lion's Gate.
Every year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what August is, everyone? Eclipse season. That's right. So you're always imagining, right? I always use this analogy. Michael Scott, is that his name from The Office? Going back and forth in a panic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Eclipse coming. Eclipse season is coming. Because what do I always say about eclipse season? I shall remind you, if it comes into your life, accept it, even if you don't like it very much. If it leaves your life, even if you don't like that very much, accept it and do not chase it back.
Now the message that I received makes sense to me. Thank you. All right. Because it didn't
Okay.
make sense to me. Yeah.
Eclipse season is coming. And technically, we're already in it. And we are recording this at the end of July in the new moon Aquarius energy. And so the nodes have just shifted into Aquarius and Leo. For the next 18 months, we're going to be having eclipses in the Leo and Aquarius axis. So technically, it's a very eclipsy full moon at the end of July, even though it's not, because it's not close in range. It's 6-degree full moon. And the eclipse or the nodes always come in at 29 degrees. So, but this is a very eclipsy full moon that we are actually recording this on. And so it begins. Aquarius and Leo, let's shake up that area of our birth chart in our lives. And do we know any Aquarius and Leos? Because their lives will be shaken up over the next 18 months. And that's just the way that it goes during eclipses. Does that sound about right?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you in some way feel something is different, but I can't put a finger on what that is? Do you feel that?
Yeah, so that's the July energy that I want to recap
Okay.
before we go into the
Okay.
August energy and then the eclipses that are going to shake everything. I really feel that July changed everything. And we talked about July ad nauseum on this podcast, didn't we? And it wasn't to nauseate any of you. It was to prepare you just like a weather forecaster would. Well, we're energy forecasters, if you will. And from the beginning of July, yes, but July 20th onward, and then every single day past July 20th was reintroduction to returning to self um, and a remembrance to self. Definitely, that's what that portal has been. We're still in it, and this is it. But it's a remembrance of who we are, that return to that innocence that I've been talking about since that February 20th alignment. And it's all about what is your new baseline. For me, this is what this full moon in Aquarius that we are recording this video under right now is all about. What is your new baseline? So what do I mean by that? Okay, so anything that used to just annoy the crap out of you, someone cutting you off in traffic, your husband always does this thing, your best friend keeps saying this thing, like whatever it is, and your baseline was always to be extremely irritated, extremely upset, triggered, right? That was the old baseline. What July 20th and onward has gotten all of us to do is to get into a whole new baseline. Do we feel a whole new baseline? It doesn't matter what the husband says or does not say. It doesn't matter what the best friend continues to do or the colleague that you've asked him many times to not do that thing. Do you have a different baseline? That's what I'm encouraging everyone to check in with yourself. Is there a new baseline? Because the energy, the astrology of July was so beautiful, has been so beautiful, has been completely new. And it's that introduction to not only remember who we are, but to have a completely new baseline for all of the everyday things, whether they're huge annoyances, whether they're everyday things, so that what we're going into in August, these eclipses are going to shake things up like we have never seen before, right? It is the huge shake up of all time. So it's like, okay, what's your baseline? And do you understand, like, is this making sense? Is this tracking for you, Joanna?
It is, because my baseline has shifted literally just the other day, and it didn't come with a fanfare. It was, the best way I can describe it, it was a moment of me landing more into myself. And trying to explain that logically, it's very difficult because it's not a concept, it's a state of being. So you talk about irritation from outside. Someone's baseline may have been holding themselves back, right? And a new baseline would be holding yourself back a little bit less. That's a new baseline, right? Okay. So this shift that and was actually kind of funny, because I often tell people transformation doesn't come with a fanfare. It usually comes in very quiet moments, is what I've observed. So my epiphany came while I was in my bathroom putting my eyelashes on, and I had this visceral awareness, not in my head, but in my body. And the awareness was this: oh my God, I don't need the outside to approve my value. And I almost shook, because it was like, I knew this in my head. We talk about it all the time. It was conceptual. The other day, it actually landed in my body. It just kind of went, boop, there it is. Yeah. And it was quiet, soft. The only way I can describe it is like a soft landing more into myself. And as you know, I've been going through many iterations since Peru last year. Oh, by the way, thank you for reminding me. For those of you who are interested or drawn towards coming more home into yourself, embodying more of your true essence, I have a Peru retreat coming up in October 12th to 19th. It's a plant medicine transformational retreat. If any of you listening or watching feel resonant with that, there's a link down below and we can just go from there. But thank you for reminding me. So what I was saying is that I've been going through a lot of my own iterations. And yesterday, or was it yesterday? It was yesterday when I had that landing, it completely shifted in the way I approach my work. I can't even explain to you how logically what that means, but it's just, there was this significant shift in the way I perceive everything. Now, for those of you who are probably very familiar with, most people to some degree, well, let's say many people to some degree at least, look to the outside to tell them who they are, right? Validation. Imagine one day having this moment where you have a body realization and you realize, the outside doesn't approve of me. I do. That is massive. Absolutely massive. I don't even know how to put it into words. I'm doing my best because words are very imprecise, but it is essentially a state of being. Yeah. Does that make sense to you, what I'm saying?
You're doing a great job. And I feel like we started saying that last month's update is like, it's really hard to put into words. And I don't know if I'm saying this properly. And that's where we're at now. It's more of a feeling. And I'm encouraging everyone at this Aquarius full moon, which, you'll hear this and you can just think back to the Aquarius full moon on July 29th and how you felt. Maybe you are a journal taker, so you can go back and look at your journal notes. How did you feel at that Aquarius full moon? Sorry, because it's the big reveal. That Aquarius full moon is like, okay, we had this transformational astrology that basically started July 20th. And it was like every single day after. And it was the most beautiful alignment in astrology that we have ever seen. Okay. So it's just like, how did you feel at that full moon on the 29th? So literally 9 days after, right? How did you feel? And it's exactly what Joanna and I are trying to put into words. It's like, my baseline is totally different now. And I'm not saying since 9 days ago. I mean, I've been working on this for a long time. I've been doing the shadow work that we talk about on this program a lot. But like the things that used to irritate me, the things that used to even upset me, and I would have to talk myself out of, or like do serious shadow work. Like it's not hitting me anymore. And I had a way more, dare I say it, blissful state in my everyday, whatever I'm doing. If I'm making dinner for the kids, if I'm driving my kids around to a basketball tournament, is this like way higher of a baseline. So I know that sounds super woo-woo. And it almost sounds like I'm saying, oh, we've raised our vibration. But I think I am almost saying, I think we've
Yeah.
raised our vibration. I think
Yeah.
that's what happened. I think that was the
Yeah.
whole point of that barbell basket that we kept talking about. I think that is literally what happened.
Yeah. And having a new baseline, well, it changes everything. Let's face it. Like it
Absolutely everything.
literally changes everything. It changes how you look at the world. Thank you. It changes how you see yourself. It changes your relationship with yourself. The moment you change your relationship with yourself, it shifts how you relate to others and the world. So the world outside hasn't changed, but your relationship with it changes. And as a result of that, you literally have a different experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Point of that astrology that, you know, some of us, a lot of us, many of us were like, maybe it'll be this, maybe it'll be that. But really, it's all an internal embodiment. And I know Joanna's been saying that all year, that embodiment is the new spiritual word. And now we get it. Like now it's happening. So it's like, oh, okay, that's what it means. You literally feel different about everything.
Yeah. And it's very difficult to put it into words because it's not a conceptual thing. It literally is. Like if I could just give some words to this, it doesn't mean that I don't have control. I still have control. I can control things if I want to. I just don't have the need to. That's the difference. And I just feel much more settled. Dare I say the word calmer? And who the heck doesn't want to feel calmer? And it just feels much more peaceful. I call it landing because it's like a bump. Like you've just kind of settled, more settled into yourself.
Yeah. Well, I thank God we got here. Joanna and I are here, and I love it. And I love that we're always connected in our journey together. And then we love to talk to you about it. But like this full moon that we literally are talking about, the July 29th, and then the eclipses are so transformational. So stuff's going to happen. Okay. Like I can guarantee out there in the world, in your personal life, and I'll say it again, eclipses bring things in and take things away. So yes, that means things like breakups, you lose your job. So I'm not saying everybody out there is going to have a breakup and lose a job. Of course, I'm not saying that. But, you know, when you look at your astrology birth chart, and if you have Aquarius and Leo, this is impacting you now tremendously for the next 18 months, right? We've just had the Pisces Virgo, and that changed everything for people that have strong Virgo and Pisces in their birth chart. So 18 months of that. And now actually there will be one final Pisces eclipse that I'm going to talk about here, and we'll go into it for each of the zodiac signs. But now we're getting into the Aquarius and Leo, and Aquarius and Leo, like just out there in the world, Aquarius is the people. It is humanity, right? It's power to the people, right? Leo is your heart. It's your courage. But this is where the South Node is, right? And so the South Node, wherever the South Node is, you always look at like the shadow vibe of that sign. And so the shadow vibe of Leo is ego.
Arrogance, yeah.
Arrogance, like my way or the highway, seeing things as black and white. There is no gray. And so people that have a very heavy Leo, they struggle with this their whole lives too. Like they need to be seen and heard. They need to be center of attention. It's all about them. Stuff like this, right? So it's all that stuff that's coming up now and the other thing about Leo is it's the kings and the queens. So the presidents and the prime ministers, it's these celebrities, right? And so they're going to fall, whatever that means, whatever it means for the kings and queens to fall. I mean, this is the last hurrah for the next over 18 months. We're going to be seeing a lot of that falling. We'll be watching for that over the next 18 months. We'll talk you through all of these eclipses, but this is the beginning of it. This is a big hurrah, this full moon at the end of July, and then the eclipses into August. This is like your baseline. Basically, your baseline has been raised, feels more calm. Your nervous system has been regulated to give you a new baseline so that you can watch the world unfold with as much peace in your heart as humanly possible.
Yeah. There's something coming to me as you're talking. Sometimes it's difficult for us to pinpoint what's exactly changing because we're in it, right? It's because we're in it. But a suggestion that's coming is if we can ask ourselves this one question: where do I feel more empowered now than I have, let's say, 6 or 8 months ago? And then notice, where are you being less reactive? Where are you being less needing approval? Where are you being more true to yourself? Where are you being more transparent? Now, it doesn't mean you go out and air their laundry to everybody. That's not what it means. But essentially, where in your life have you become, thank you, more authentic person, right? And it's not that we try to lie to people. It's not that. It's that what we do is we strategize in order to stay safe and secure. So we self-abandon in the process. So maybe the question to ask is, where do I abandon myself? And we do this every single day in micro moments, some more than others. And where have I stopped abandoning myself? For example, maybe in the past I had difficulty speaking my truth because my fear was that if I say something, I will not be liked or accepted. And now you're coming to a point where you're saying your truth is just as important as somebody else's truth. Just because I have my truth and that's different than somebody else's truth, it doesn't mean I'm wrong. It doesn't mean they're wrong. We just have different points of view. And that's okay. Can you imagine a world like that?
Right. That's the one I
Yes.
do this. That's the one I do live in.
And speaking of the world, this is the world we are creating, because the world doesn't just happen by itself. We create our world. And it starts, as you beautifully put it, where? With each and every person on the inside, right? The less we are at war with ourselves, the more peace we feel on the inside. And that peace, well, first and foremost, has an incredible impact on our nervous system. So when we have more peace, we are calmer. We have access to higher wisdom, because when we are in stress, the mind gets in the way, because the mind is designed to deal with problems, right? That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that. But when we're stressed out, we're constricted, contracted, so we don't have access to the higher wisdom, which is always within each and every individual, right? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yeah.
This new baseline, it's no joke, is it?
Fabulous.
For all the 12 signs, first I want to just say what I'm going to cover for each of the 12 zodiac signs. I'm so glad we spent this time talking about the July recap, because it changed everything, even though it doesn't maybe seem like it, but it did. And it prepared us for what's coming, right? And August is going to shake it up, right? So there's 4 main things that I want to cover for August that I myself feel are the biggest astrological moments for August. And I'll just go over them quickly. And then for all of the 12 zodiac signs, I'm going to talk about how that's impacting you. Okay, so first of all, on August 3, we've got Chiron stationing retrograde at 0 Taurus. This is all about our self-worth stuff, right? Self-worth, money, food production. So there's going to be healing around survival and worth and body image and body and money and what feels truly secure. So we're going to go into that. That's the first thing that I see as a main theme for August. Second theme for August is August 12. We've got the new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees Leo. This is an initiation around creative courage, authentic leadership, visibility, and the willingness to be seen, which is what we've just been talking about. The third main theme for August 23rd, we've got Sun entering Virgo. It is Virgo season. Happy birthday, the Virgos. This is, we're going to ground in everything that we've been learning in our discernment, right? Our health, our systems, our work, and our practical repair. And then August 28th, we've got the full moon lunar eclipse at 4 Pisces. So this is the final eclipse on the Pisces and Virgo axis. So we've been experiencing these for the last 18 months. Now this is the final one. And so this closes an 18-month chapter around surrender versus control, spiritual trust versus overfunctioning, and healing the divide between intuition and daily reality. So that's how I see August energy as the 4 main themes. We're going to go into the all 12 signs forecast. How's that feeling for you, Joanna?
You know, as you're talking, and of course, when we talk about a month, it doesn't start on the first and end, you know, the 30th or 31st. It's like it's fluid, right? It doesn't have edges. So, but anyway, as you were talking, I saw the image of an anchor, and it feels like the month of August is an opportunity for us to anchor more within ourselves. Now, anchor can be used in 2 different ways. One is you're anchored and you can't move, so that's not great. But the kind of anchor I'm talking about is feeling anchored, or another word that's coming, it's like feeling of being held. Not held back, but held. So it feels very solid. It feels very grounding. It feels full of opportunities, but steps are necessary to take in order to take advantage of those opportunities, right? So I heard somebody talking the other day on somewhere, they were talking about astrology, how some astrologer said, you know, there's all these opportunities and the person was really mad because nothing happened to this person. And there was a whole bunch of other people saying, well, did you take steps? Did you do your part? Like the universe doesn't just hand you a thing, it's a co-creative process. So what I'm trying to say is by this feeling anchored and being held, it feels like many people will be at a choice point. But just because we're at a choice point doesn't mean it's going to be forced upon us. We have to make that choice. So whether it is changing your relationship with yourself, changing your relationship with your loved one, really looking at things in your life and asking the question, is this really still serving me? Because if it isn't, do I want to make a different choice? That's the choice point. And what I'm also hearing, it's reorganization of our inner world. And as we all know, our outer world is the reflection of our inner world. So when we reorganize on the inside, it'll naturally be reflected in due time on the outside. But there is a lag. Sometimes it happens very quickly. Sometimes it takes time. It just depends, right? So a lot of people are saying, you know, I've done all the healing, I've done all the work. Why do I still feel like I don't have what it is that I worked on? And oftentimes it's not that we're not aligned. It's just physicality takes time to become our real experience. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I'm just,
You may.
yes.
So we're going to be going through an all 12 signs forecast here. I want you to listen for your rising sign first. Your rising sign tells you the area of life being impacted. And you're definitely going to want to know where Leo and Aquarius fall in your natal birth chart, because the house placement of Leo and Aquarius is where the eclipses are hitting you for the next 18 months. And also, are you an Aquarius and Leo noder? Because that means you're having a nodal return or a nodal reverse, and things change when you have that. Joanna's just gone through her nodal return. I had a nodal reverse not too long ago, and in came the husband during that time frame, during an eclipse, met the husband. So people come in, situations come in, jobs come in. If it comes in during an eclipse, the rule is accept it and feel it out and try it out. It might be something totally new you've never tried. You never thought you'd ever like this kind of person or like this kind of job or whatever. No. If it comes in, sit with it, try it out. If it leaves, even if it's your best friend for 30 years, even if it's that job you've had for 20 years, you must let it go. And I know it's very difficult.
It's not easy. No, it's not.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But stuff happens at eclipse season.
Yeah.
And it's, again, if it's hitting your nodes or a particular part of your birth chart, maybe an angular chart, you can always ask me, where is it? If you don't know where it is, you can always send me a message. But this is what you want to be noticing right over the next 18 months. So you listen for your rising sign first so that you can know like the area of life. Secondly, you're listening for your sun sign because your sun sign is your soul's mission in this life. Your sun is, your life force, how you show up. It's the reason why you get out of bed in the morning. Your sun gives you so much energy. And often when you get a little bit older, like midlife and onward, your sun sign sort of shows you area of life as well because you're following your soul a little bit more. I would. And then your moon sign is going to show your family stuff. It's going to show your emotional stuff, how your feelings. So you want to listen for your moon sign as well. Joanna always says, listen for your north node.
Mhm.
Your north truly is your assignment in this life. So you can listen for all the signs since and especially if you have a stellium of planets. So you don't have anything, you don't have a sun there, you don't have a moon there, but you have stellium, which means 3 or more planets in any particular sign. You would want to listen for that sign too. So listen to them all if you need. And if you have any questions about what is sun, what is moon, what is stellium, you can always ask me. You can send me a message.
Can I just piggyback onto that? I was saying to Jenny earlier, I don't use cards ever anymore. So I only do it here when I feel called to it. So I have a deck of cards and I pulled a card for the collective. Didn't make sense to me. Now that you're talking, I'm going, okay, now it makes sense. Because the card, and notice what's under the sun. And the word is consistency. So this is for all of us. The message is this. Are your words and actions aligned? If you believe that there is more to life than what you are currently experiencing, are you giving yourself the permission to go beyond what is comfortable? Because we'll never experience change within the confinements of what we've always done. In order to experience something different, we have to move beyond those confinements. And that's naturally going to bring up some fear. That's very normal. Because something that is unknown to the nervous system is always often perceived as dangerous, right? So the message is, are your words and actions aligned? If you're in a relationship, as an example, that you know very well is no longer serving you, and I get it, that's hard. Is your choice to stay, or is your choice to give yourself permission to experience something different? Knowing that making the choice to experience something different is going to come with some discomfort. That's a given. That's a given. But discomfort doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong. It just means the discomfort of growth and change, right? So consistency is key for us in August.
Love it. I'll also be giving a July recap for all 12 signs. So those 4 areas that I said about, plus I'm doing a July recap because July changed everything. Even if you look at your life and you think, no, actually it didn't, but wondering about your base.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm doing a July recap for all of them too.
Yeah. And it may also be a situation where the one that I had literally yesterday, where it's like everything is the same, and all of a sudden you have this epiphany.
Yeah.
Something inside you just shifts, and it wasn't something you told yourself. It wasn't a logical thing. It just kind of went, there it is.
The embodiment happened.
It
was an embodiment event.
That's it.
You were here for it.
Oh, yes.
Okay, shall we start with Aries?
Let's do it.
Let's do a July recap first for you, Aries. Okay, July brought revelations around friendships, community, future goals, and your public direction. The Aquarius full moon activated a deeper question. Where am I overextending for a group that no longer reflects me? Expect the after effects to linger into August. Okay, some alliances may feel clarified while others naturally fade. What remains is more aligned with the future you actually want. That was July for you. Now let's go over those 4 areas for you, Aries. August 3, we've got Chiron retrograde in Taurus in your 2nd house. Chiron turns inward around money, self-worth, security, and your relationships to receiving. Old fears about not having enough may become louder temporarily so that they can be understood rather than obeyed. This is not necessarily a moment to force financial answers, but it's a moment to notice where fear has been making your decisions. Build stability through small, consistent choices and honest self-evaluation. Then August 12, we've got this total solar eclipse. That's a new moon, and it's at 20 degrees of Leo. This is going to be in your 5th house. This eclipse opens a new chapter in creativity, romance, pleasure, children, leadership, and being seen. You may feel a powerful urge to make something, share something, launch something, take a heartfelt risk. The invitation is not to perform for applause. It's to express what is truly real for you. Our relationship may become more passionate or reveal what it actually needs. Let your joy become a compass. And then August 23, we've got Sun entering Virgo in your 6th house. So after the fire and the drama of the eclipse season, Virgo asks you to return to the practical. Your health, schedule, work systems, daily habits, and routines become more of a focus. This is where you turn inspiration into a sustainable rhythm. Don't try to overhaul everything all at once. Choose 1 or 2 habits that make your life feel more supported. And then the end of the month, August 28, we've got a partial lunar eclipse. That's a full moon, and it's at 4 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is the final eclipse in the Pisces Virgo axis that we've been experiencing now. And this is going to be in your 12th house. This is a deep emotional release point. You may need more sleep, quiet, solitude, or space from other people's demands. Something hidden may become impossible to ignore, especially a draining pattern, an unspoken grief, or an old coping mechanism. Let it end gently rather than dramatically. Rest is not avoidance, it's a part of your reset. So a mantra for you, Aries, in August: my worth is inherent and my joy deserves room in my life. What'd you get for Aries, Joanna?
Well, 2 cards came out, but I wrote a whole bunch of things. So the first thing, I'm just going to show you guys the cards. I don't really read them, but just as a visual. So one is called dependability. The other one is called renewal. I don't know if you can see it, but this is it's a male or masculine and feminine, and they're renewal. So the very first thing that came to me from those 2 is renewal or change with regards to a relationship. Now, this could be a relationship you have with yourself. This could be a relationship you have with your partner. This could be a relationship you have with the world in general. There is almost like I want to use the words heightened frequency that is pushing you to look at yourself very honestly. And the question is, where do you still betray yourself on a regular basis? And ask yourself the question, why do I do that? Because when you ask the question why, it'll often reveal your baseline, and it'll show you what your belief system is. If that is still your belief system, if you are still holding on to that belief system as your truth, then your entire life will be organized by it. So if you're betraying yourself, for example, you're not going to speak your truth because you're afraid that you're going to be abandoned. If you know that this is why, if you ask the question, why do I betray myself? And let's face it, who wants to be betrayed? No one. Why? Because betrayal hurts. Yes, when we betray ourselves, it hurts. The only thing is we do it so often, we don't even register it as pain. It just becomes part of our identity. So the question is, where do you betray yourself on a regular basis? Why do you betray yourself? And then notice, what is the organizing principle of your life? Because if you still believe that you are, or afraid that you are going to be abandoned, then you're still holding on to an energy that hasn't been processed. Fear of abandonment. At some point in your life, you felt abandoned. And then your entire world began to be organized by that principle. As long as your life is organized by that principle, you will hold yourself back. There's no way around it. And the idea here is to no longer hold yourself back nearly as much. Okay? So that also describes the relationship with yourself. Who do you follow, or what do you follow, and does it serve you based on what you want to experience? So whether it's, do you follow certain rules? Do you follow certain programming? Do you follow certain criteria because your mom and dad and grandma and grandpa told you that that's the way it should be, and therefore you're like, following that? If it serves you, great, but if it doesn't, time for change. But no one will make that change for you other than you. And change, as we talked about, is not comfortable. I'm always very upfront and honest about that. Change is not comfortable. Check mark. Here's the difference. We can go through an initial discomfort that doesn't feel very good, because on the other side, there is something much more. Or we can choose to stay with our discomfort permanently, because when you betray yourself, that's not comfortable. It's both discomfort. One at least has an end to it. The other one is just constant. And I believe that that's the choice point. If you're Aries, that's the choice point. It's how do you choose to show up in your own life? Starting with you. How do you show up for yourself? If you betray yourself all the time, you are essentially hurting yourself. But because it's been so for so long, you've done it, it's just a regular thing you do. You don't even register it as pain. That's a big message. Yeah.
Taurus. Let's take a July recap for Taurus. July shook up your career direction, your reputation, and your sense of where you are headed. The Aquarius full moon brought visibility, truth, and perhaps a professional or public turning point. You may now see more clearly what no longer fits, the version of you that no longer fits. August asks you to make the inner changes that support your outer shifts. Let your definition of success become more personal. So let's go through the top 4 astrological alignments as I see them in August. First of all, we've got August 3, Chiron retrograde in Taurus, your sign. So this would be your first house. Chiron retrograde in your own sign makes this deeply personal. Old insecurities around identity, appearance, confidence, and taking up space may return for some healing. You may feel tender, but this is also an opportunity to stop defining yourself through an outdated wound. Let yourself be unfinished and still worthy. Your task is to become more compassionate toward the person you are becoming. Next up, we've got the August 12 new moon total solar eclipse at 20 degrees Leo. This is in your 4th house. This eclipse begins a major new cycle around home, family, emotional roots, and belonging. A move, a family shift, renovation, or inner redefinition of your home may be part of the story. You may be ready to create a sanctuary that reflects who you are now. Family patterns can be seen more clearly, especially the need to be on the stable side for everybody else, right? Choose emotional safety over familiar dysfunction. August 23, the sun is entering Virgo in your 5th house. Virgo season brings practical flair to your creativity, romance, and pleasure. You may refine a creative project, become more intentional in dating, or make room for hobbies that restore you. This is a lovely time to remember that joy needs structure to thrive. Give your desires a place on the calendar. Fun is not frivolous, it is fuel. And then we've got the August 28th partial full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees Pisces in your 11th house. Now, this is the final eclipse in the Pisces Virgo axis. For you, it's in the 11th house. A friendship, collaboration, audience, or future goal reaches a culmination. You may outgrow a group, or you may recognize which community genuinely supports your dreams. This eclipse can reveal where you have been shrinking to belong. If the right people find the real you, your future is asking for a friendship group and allies. Mantra for you, Taurus, in August. I am safe to become the person I was always meant to be.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. So I'm loving how these are coming through today, because these messages are coming more like contemplations for ourselves. And I love that, because it's not me telling you. I don't always say don't listen a word to what I'm saying. But contemplations are interesting because it means we have to go inside. So the card that flew out is called moderation, but it's interesting because the first thing I heard was this: don't be so modest at a cost of showing up fully. So sometimes we and there's modesty is good in my humble opinion. I tend to be modest, but sometimes we use modesty as a way of holding ourselves back. So the question isn't be all out and tell everybody you're the best thing since ever happened, since sliced bread. Please don't do that. But the opposite side of, because that's ego, but the opposite side is also ego. It's just in a different flavor. So the message is, it is okay for you to show up being fully yourself, even if it means that it will make others uncomfortable. And for those of us like myself who spend most of our lives trying to manage other people's emotions, because we figured if we don't, our life was going to be in total freaking chaos, that is a big threshold to cross. That's a big threshold to cross. Message, Taurus. I laughed. Assume nothing. I'm like, what does that mean? Be open to opportunities, but always remember, you are the creator of your own life. What are your own reservations about yourself, and what would life look like if those reservations were not there? Ponder this idea. Example, if one of your reservations is, I am not good enough, or I am not worthy of receiving more love, more money, more abundant opportunities, what could your life look like if those reservations were not there? Then think about that for a moment. If you didn't have those, what would you give yourself permission to do? How would you choose to show up? What would you say? How would you, what would you say no to, for example? Those are important questions. Yeah, don't be modest at a cost of showing up fully. And this is all to do with being seen. So if you're a Taurus who struggled with the idea that if I'm seen, something bad is going to happen to me, because that's essentially what it is, fear of being seen, then it's worth asking the question, okay, what does the fear represent? Where is it coming from? Where do you remember last time, perhaps when you were young, where you were yourself fully and something or someone told you, no, that's wrong. And all of a sudden you just went, you put yourself in a little box. Because I always say, whether you're Taurus or somebody else, you're here to show up fully to the best of your ability. The more you show up in life, the more life is going to give to you. Not because life withholds from you, but when you're shrinking, you don't have the capacity to experience more. So people often say, I want more this, more that. Beautiful. But if your nervous system is holding onto fear, you don't have the capacity to have all of that you want. You have to create capacity. Right? So that's what I have for Taurus. Interesting.
Excellent. Gemini, let's do a July recap first. July brought a shift in your beliefs, learning, travel, publishing, and your relationship to truth. The Aquarius full moon may have exposed a worldview, a teacher, a plan, an aspiration that no longer carries your soul forward. August asks that you speak from your own experience. You are being called to a more honest and expansive perspective. Let curiosity lead rather than certainty. Okay, first up, we've got that August 3 Chiron stationing retrograde in Taurus. This is going to be in your 12th house. Chiron retrograde brings old subconscious material close to the surface for you. You may notice anxiety, exhaustion, recurring dreams, or emotional memories asking for tenderness. This is a powerful period for therapy, spiritual practice, rest, and private reflection. Do not demand immediate clarity from yourself. Healing often begins when you stop running from what hurts. Okay, now let's get into August. First up, we've got the August 12 new moon total solar eclipse. It's at 20 degrees of Leo. This eclipse is in your third house, sorry. This eclipse begins a bold new chapter in communication, writing, speaking, teaching, learning, and local connections. Your voice carries more weight now, so use it with heart and precision. A new course, a contract, a project, a platform, or a conversation can open up an important door for you. Do not minimize your message because it feels vulnerable. The words you claim now can redirect your path. Then on August 23, we've got Sun entering Virgo in your fourth house. Virgo season shifts your attention toward home, family, emotional foundations. You may want to organize your space, settle a family matter, or establish better boundaries at home. Your nervous system needs an environment that feels orderly and safe. Practical domestic choices can bring emotional relief. Build the base that allows your mind to flourish. And then we've got on August 28th, we've got a full moon, partial lunar eclipse at 4 degrees Pisces. Now, this is the final eclipse in the Pisces Virgo axis. And for you, it's in the 10th house. It's impacting a career, a purpose, or public identity chapter coming to a turning point. You may receive recognition, clarity, or a realization that changes your professional direction. This eclipse asks whether your work reflects your deeper values, not just your ability to stay busy. Release roles that require you to abandon yourself. Let success become more soulful and sustainable. A mantra for you, Gemini, in August. My voice matters, and my path expands when I tell the truth.
I'm laughing because I wrote this and then you just said it. It always happened that way.
It happens that way.
I love it. Okay. The card that came out is called Rediscovery, whatever that word means to you, but I'm going to share with you what I received. First and foremost, your inner child is healing. How? Because you're finally starting to listen to it. So, a question may be, well, how do I know I'm listening to my inner child? What brings you joy? What brings you joy? It's such a simple question, but because of its simplicity, we dismiss it because we think we have to go through some massive something in order for something good to come to us. But the question, what brings you joy, is such a simple question, but we often don't pay attention to it because it's off. It can't be that simple. Yes, it can. Just recognizing what brings you joy is the first step to then choosing to follow it. If you choose to follow, and again, that's the choice point. So the message is this. Allowing more to come in often means letting go of what no longer serves you. Why? Because by letting go, you create the space for the new to come in. No more self-sacrifice, no more overgiving, no more over-explaining, no more over-functioning. Now, anything we do over, we are trying to, what's the right word, please? We are trying to compensate for something we believe we don't have. So if we overgive over and over, we are compensating for something because we feel that if we're just going to be normal ourselves, we're not going to be enough. That's programming. Okay? Follow your heart, but use your discernment. It's pretty straightforward, but some people may say, well, I can't just follow my heart. Well, yes, you can, little tiny steps. Following your heart may be, I don't know, you want to live in a different country. Well, acknowledge that's what it is as an example, and then what can you give yourself permission to do so that eventually you could make the steps to perhaps live in a different country? You first have to have that as awareness and as your intention. I'm just giving that as an example, right? But reconnecting with your thank you, highest. You are in a process of reconnecting with your true identity. With your true identity. Your true identity is selfless, but not self-sacrificing. That's very different. Because if you sacrifice yourself in the process, then there is nothing left of you for you. So who's going to fill that void? You'll have to go to the outside, to others, to fill that void. And then we go back to the square one, depending on the outside to make us happy. The outside absolutely contributes to it, but just I can't make Jenny happy, she can't make me happy, because that's an internal job. So if you're someone who overgives, over-explains, over, you're likely doing that because something inside of you doesn't feel quite right. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, but there's some organizing principle that makes you feel that you, just as you are not enough, and that's a lie. So that's your choice point. I got choked up here for a moment.
Here's the good one. Cancer, let's do July for you. July highlighted self-worth, money, reciprocity, and the question of what you are willing to exchange for security. The Aquarius full moon may have exposed an imbalance in intimacy, debt, shared resources, or emotional power. August asks you to stop underestimating your value. What you bring becomes more stable when you no longer negotiate against yourself. So let's go through August now for you. First up, we have that August 3 Chiron stationing retrograde in Taurus, which is in your 11th house. So old pain about friendships, belonging, exclusion, or feeling unseen in groups may resurface for you. You may recognize where you have shaped your dreams around the expectations of others. Give yourself permission to reassess who has access to your energy. The right community will not require you to perform. August 12. Let's talk about the new moon total solar eclipse at 20 degrees Leo. This is in your second house. This eclipse begins a new cycle around income, resources, values, and self-esteem. An opportunity to earn differently, price your work more honestly, or invest in yourself may emerge. It also asks for a clearer relationship with desire. Who do you truly want to sustain? Choose what makes you feel more resourced, not merely more impressive. Then on August 23, we've got the sun entering Virgo. This is in your third house. Virgo season brings momentum to conversations, paperwork, learning, writing, appointments, and everyday logistics. Your mind is sharp. Use it to clarify what has been vague. A practical conversation can relieve emotional burden for you. And then we've got that August 28th full moon partial lunar eclipse at 4 degrees Pisces. Now, this is the final eclipse in the Pisces Virgo axis, and it's in your 9th house. A belief, educational path, spiritual framework, travel plan, or publishing goal reaches a threshold. You may be asked to release certainty in favor of more lived or compassionate truth. Let your worldview evolve. You do not need to have every answer to know what feels spiritually honest. So a mantra for you in August, Cancer, is I honor my value and I let my life grow beyond old limits. What'd you get for Cancer, Joanna?
Hang on.
She's getting stuff. And I'm hearing my neighbors walking by.
Another deep message. Okay. I don't have a card. Let me just see. Okay. The first message is this. all of it is meaningful. You may just not be able to see it now. It is normal in life to struggle. It's part of life. But where do you add to your own struggle? Where do you betray yourself on a regular basis? You are not required to be everything to everyone at all times. That is not your job. But you are required to tend to your own self and your own need. And then I heard, I can't be myself. The question is why? What is the obstacle to you being yourself? What do you believe will happen if you show up fully? That belief is your organizing principle. Do you still want it to be the driver of your life, or do you choose to be the one in the driver's seat? I'm not going to explain because I feel that's self-explanatory. Okay. It says reaction. I was going to tell you what I feel. So first and foremost, the flowers here to me symbolize transformation. And there is an emotional letting go. And I feel like it's a strong message. I feel like some of you may be reliving or remembering moments in your life that were really tough. And you stuffed it in the box because you couldn't deal with it for whatever reason. August, and I also want to say September, October, for the rest of the year, there's an opportunity for you to clear some of that old stuff so that you are no longer living in your own inner prison. And I always say, people say, well, Jesus is going to come and save me. And I'm like, nope, he can't save you from yourself. No one can. No one can save me from me. I can't save Jenny from herself. That's an inside job. And thank you. They're saying to me that the kind of transformation that you're going through, Cancer, is, the word is catalytic. Catalytic. It's big. It's not a small thing. The process is not a comfortable one. I always talk about it. But once you go through the process, and I think that's the struggles that it was talking about, once you go through the process, and it's a very meaningful process, you will see yourself on the other side of this process almost as a completely different person. But here's the thing. It's not that you're going to be different. You're finally going to realize who you really are underneath the stories you tell yourself, underneath the condition, underneath the dogma, underneath the whatever. We all have it. It's just a human condition, right? So there's a lot of letting go. Some of you may have tears, shedding tears, not because something bad is happening necessarily. I don't believe, but you might be remembering some old thing coming up to the surface, because no one can take anything away from you. It has to move through you and out of you. So it's a very cleansing month. Well, the rest of the year. It's a very cleansing time for you guys. Wow.
It's the strongest one yet.
Mm-hmm.
Leo. So let's just have a July recap first. So July placed you at the center of a major personal redefinition. The Aquarius whole moon may have illuminated relationship patterns, commitments, or projections that no longer match who you are becoming. August is your invitation to come home to yourself. Let your choices reflect your real identity, not the version of you others find most convenient. So first of all, let's talk about the August 3 transit. We've got Chiron stationing retrograde in Taurus. This is in your 10th house. Chiron retrograde may stir tenderness around career, reputation, authority, visibility, and the pressure to prove yourself. An old professional wound could become more apparent, especially if you have been carrying too much alone. You do not need to force a polished answer right now. Let your definition of success become more humane. August 12. Well, Leo. We have a new moon, total solar eclipse, at 20 degrees Leo. So this is in your first house. This is your eclipse, a powerful beginning of identity, image, confidence, leadership, and personal direction. You are stepping into a new version of yourself, and it may require a braver relationship with visibility. Change your look, claim a new role, start the project, make the announcement, or simply decide you are no longer available for an old story. Your life is responding to the person I'm looking to become. Did you get that? Not
Literally, yes.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Yeah. I like it.
August 23, we've got Sun entering Virgo. This is in your second house. Virgo season redirects your focus to money, values, skills, and material stability. Review your spending, clarify your rates, and honor the practical side of your ambitions. Self-trust grows when your resources are handled with care. And then August 28th, we've got a full moon, partial lunar eclipse, and it's at 4 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is the final eclipse on the Pisces-Virgo axis for you, and it'll be in the 8th house. A deep emotional or financial entanglement reaches a point of truth. This eclipse can reveal what must be released around trust, control, and shared money, intimacy, or energetic obligations. Let honesty replace avoidance. True closeness cannot be built on unspoken resentment. So a mantra for Leo in August: I am allowed to become visible as the person I am now. What'd you get for Leo, Joanna?
So this, okay, I'm going to show you the card. First and foremost, it says unity, but whatever that means for you, I'll share with you what I mean by that. It feels like you are bouncing back. So when I inquired further, it felt like you might have been dealing with something for a really long time. It may actually have been something you've dealt most of your life or all of your life. And now it's like you're bouncing back. You know, the idea of bouncing back, right? It's like you're bouncing back. You are saying no to old, outdated, limiting stories, which is similar to what you were sharing. No more self-sacrificing. Here we go again. It's a similar theme with this whole self-sacrificing thing. And by the way, we're not saying don't be helpful. That's not what it means. We're saying don't be helpful to the point that you lose yourself in the process because it costs you, right? I saw Leos trying something new and being really good at it. For some, it might become your new venture. Needing more rest, making sure that you get good quality sleep because you are in a growth period and your body is learning how to assimilate what you already know in your mind or in your intellect. And then what came to me was sacral chakra, which is the feminine aspect, which is the mother wound, for example, which is also the center of our creativity. And whenever we have some unresolved pain or trauma that we're holding in our sacral chakra, we are going to hold ourselves back, which means we can't experience more out of life. So there's the theme is kind of similar for everybody, but it's just a little bit nuanced with each sign. So it feels like you're clearing a lot of sacral, sacral stuff. I'll use that word. What does that mean? It means that your creativity is on the rise. There is more energy now available for you to create. So if we spend a lot of energy on holding ourselves back, for example, that energy cannot be available for something to create. And because you're bouncing back, because you're coming more back home to yourself, perhaps no longer sacrificing yourself in life, you are essentially engaging in more of your own creative process. You're your creativity is on the rise. I'm not going to overtalk it. I think that makes sense what I'm saying, right? That can come in various different ways. It can come in terms of opportunities like the one that I saw. It can come in terms of abundance. It can come in terms of ability to have more friends or different friends, or shift and changes in how you look at yourself and the relationship you have with yourself, which, as we talked about before, will shift the relationships you have with others. So if you're a Leo, it's like you're coming back to yourself, and you may not actually know what that means until a few months from now. You'll listen to this and you'll go, "Oh, okay, now I know what it means," because you're not there yet, so to speak. You're in the process, but yeah, sleep is big for you guys. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see what new ventures for some of you are on the rise.
Virgo, let's do a July recap first. So July drew attention to rest, healing, and endings, and the quiet inner work that prepares you for a new cycle. The Aquarius full moon may have revealed where your routines, work patterns, or health habits are no longer sustainable. August asks you to create more space before you create more output. Your next level needs a rested nervous system. So let's talk about August 3. We've got Chiron stationing retrograde in Taurus, and this is in your 9th house. Questions about faith, meaning, education, travel, and personal truth may become tender again. You may revisit a belief system or a life philosophy that you once thought shaped you. This is not a sign that you are lost. It is an invitation to let your perspective mature. Seek wisdom that gives you more room to be human. August 12, we've got that new moon total solar eclipse, and it's at 20 degrees of Leo. This is in your 12th house. This eclipse opens a quiet but profound inner chapter. Something is ending beneath the surface so that a new identity can emerge later. Pay attention to dreams, intuitive nudges, fatigue, and the truths that arrive when external noise fades. Retreat when needed, protect your energy, and let go of habits and addictions that keep you disconnected from yourself. August 23, entering Virgo. So happy birthday, Virgo, your first house. Your season begins, bringing energy back to your body, identity, and personal priorities. You may feel ready to refine your image, recommit to a goal, or make a decision with more self-possession. Let this be a clean, grounded return to yourself. And then on August 28, we've got that full moon partial lunar eclipse. And it's at 4 degrees of Pisces. So it's the final eclipse on that Pisces Virgo axis. You know all about this because it's been on your axis. This is going to be in your 7th house. So a relationship or a contract is going to reach a turning point for you. You may see clarity what a partnership needs in order to continue, or what must be released because it no longer meets you with reciprocity. Choose connection that supports your wholeness, not connection that makes you disappear. Another one. Okay, mantra, Virgo. I trust the quiet transformation unfolding within me. Okay, Joanna, what did you get for Virgo? Apparently a lot of what I've been saying.
Yeah, just with probably different wordings. Okay. So what I'm noticing is the message that I got at the very beginning. August seems to be a month of choice points. In other words, we have a choice to make. Do we make it or not? Well, that all depends what a person wants to do, right? A choice point is a threshold to some new possibilities. A choice point is also a space where we choose to stay with what always has been. It's still a choice, right? Sometimes we have two choices that are not great. but it's still a choice. And I often heard this, no, I don't hear it as much anymore. And I used to think of it too. I used to presume that choices meant that all of a sudden there were going to be wonderful choices. No, sometimes you're presented with choices that are kind of, yeah, but they're still choices. They're still choices. So, Virgo, what are the essentials in your life, and what are the things and situations that drain your energy? Recognize it first. Don't blame, don't judge, just a recognition of what drains you. Then decide to do something about it. It could be as simple as saying no to a food or some substance, which is what you were talking about, that makes you feel like crap at the end of the day. Or it could be a relationship that drains you. For some, if it's a family member, you may not be able to just completely let them go because it's a family member. And if that's the case, at least limit your availability to these situations and make sure that let's put it this way. If you have a family member that just completely drains the shit out of you and you can't divorce them, because I wouldn't advise that, limit how you engage. Be a good manager of your energy. If that particular person constantly drains you and you're on the phone with them for, let's say, 20 minutes, maybe be on the phone for 5 minutes. Maybe when they start talking and complaining, you change the subject. This is what I've learned to do. And with certain people now, they don't do it as much as they used to because they know I'm going to change the subject because I'm not playing into those stories anymore, right? So not only are you raising, quote unquote, your energy, you're also in a way saying, listen, I'm available for you, but I'm not available in the way you have been showing up because it's not serving me, right? Focus on your own happiness. Be helpful, yes, absolutely, but be balanced in your approach. I guess, again, I'm seeing this theme of overgiving. It's coming up a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And again, anytime we overdo something is because we're trying to compensate for something that we feel is lacking within us, right? Fortitude, beautiful. So there's lots of animals here. There's a lot of strength in here. You have the eagle, you have the bear, you have the, I believe that that's not a fox, that's a wolf. The message that's coming through is if you're choosing to say no to someone that you've given yourself endlessly to, although it may at first it may feel difficult because you're not used to having boundaries, you are fully supported in this. And actually, when you choose to create not walls, but boundaries, what you're essentially doing is you're saying, I respect myself enough not to engage in something that I know at the end of the day doesn't serve me. That's you taking your power back. Yeah. Beautiful card. I love this card. Yeah, a lot of support for you guys. So again, choices. You're going to be saying no to some people in some situations. I know at first because I was a yes person, it's hard. Because your nervous system says, no, I got to do this to survive. And you're like, well, I'm going to go against it. And your nervous system. But every time you make a different choice, you're literally teaching your nervous system that when you have a boundary, you're essentially not going to die. Right? The more you do it, the more capacity you build. The stronger you become within yourself, the more empowered you feel because you're now realizing, I actually get to be myself and I'm still okay. Yeah. Coming back to yourself. Beautiful.
I love that choice points keep coming up because that's what eclipses do. It brings things
in
and
that's right.
takes things out.
That's right.
You have to make a decision. When eclipses come in. And I advise every single time. Okay. If it comes in, sit with it. Give it a thought. Even if they're not your type. You never have done this kind of work before. Whatever it is. What comes in, make a decision. Mm-hmm. If it leaves, I'm begging you, don't chase it. Yeah. Even if it's your best friend for 30 years and you've always, oh, you know, she acts like this. Oh, okay, all I got to do is this, this, and this, and it'll make her feel better. And I know what I need to do. I need to do the tap dance.
Yeah.
If the best friend of 30 years leaves at an eclipse, you let her go. And I know that's a hard decision.
Absolutely hard. Absolutely.
Oh, I
Yes.
know.
It's not easy. No.
So choice point keeps coming up for everyone, and I get it because
Yeah.
that's what eclipses do.
Yeah. That's why I was saying earlier, change is rarely easy. Imagine renovating your house. I've gone through it. Holy fuck, I never want to do that again. But I knew what was at the other side of that process. But did I like it? Fuck no, I hated every moment of it. But I knew this was just something, well, I had a choice. Either do or don't do it, you know? And of course, we went through it and it was awful. I talked about it. But now it's like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. But yes, was it comfortable? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Libra. July recap. July energized your friendships, networks, hopes, collaborations, and long-range visions. The Aquarius full moon may have exposed a creative project, a romantic pattern, or a desire that needs to evolve. August asks you to stop treating your future as a distant idea. You are ready to align your community with the life you actually want to live. Okay, so first step, let's talk about the August 3 transit. We've got Chiron retrograding in Taurus. This is going to be in your 8th house. Chiron retrograde brings tenderness around trust, intimacy, vulnerability, shared money, and emotional dependence. You may recognize an old instinct to overgive, overcontrol, or protect yourself by withholding. Healing comes through discernment, not emotional shutdown. Name what you need and allow mutual support to be possible. Okay, August 12, we've got the new moon total solar eclipse. It's going to be at 20 degrees of Leo, and this is in your 11th house. A new cycle begins in friendship, community, social visibility, audience building, and future goals. You may meet people who open a new door, join a meaningful group, or feel called to share your work with a larger circle. Let yourself dream beyond the role you have already mastered. The future is asking for your participation. August 23, we've got Sun entering Virgo in the 12th house. Virgo season asks for privacy, restoration, and emotional clearing. Complete unfinished tasks. Spend less energy explaining yourself and give your inner world room to breathe. You do not have to make every process public. And then on August 28th, we've got a full moon partial lunar eclipse at 4 degrees Pisces. Now, this is in your 6th house, and this is the final eclipse on that Pisces-Virgo axis. Work, health, daily responsibilities, and burnout patterns come to a turning point. This eclipse may show you where your routines need compassion and where your helpfulness has become self-erasure. Simplify your commitments. A sustainable life is built through the choices you repeat every single day. So a mantra for you, Libra: I choose relationships and dreams that make room for my full future. How does that feel for you, Joanna, as Libra rising?
Oh, that's right. Right. Yeah. So I'm just gonna read how it came through. Your significance is not something that is assigned to you by some outside authority. You already are significant. And I asked for another word because I felt that significant wasn't going to be received very well. Basically, your own importance. It's not the look at me, I'm important. It's I too am important. There's a difference. Your needs are just as important as anyone else's. The question is, do you see it that way? Perhaps you learned that your needs are not important. Question: why are someone's needs more important than your needs? Who communicated that to you? And the message is perspective. So it's about shifting perspective, your own perspective of yourself, your own perspective perhaps of your needs. This particular vision I'm drawn to, there's almost like she's pregnant. So it's full of opportunities and possibilities. By shifting your perspective of yourself or how you see yourself, and also how you relate to yourself, will inevitably begin to create new opportunities for you in your life. But if you believe your needs are not important and therefore you don't take care of yourself, well, then we have a problem on our hands, don't we? Because if you don't take care of your own needs, who's going to do it? It doesn't mean not to. This is not about not being helpful. It's not about that. It's about the word that you use is when we continue to practice self-erasure, we live at odds with who we are. When we live at odds with who we are in constant inner fight or war. There is no peace in that equation. None. The only way that we can start having peace if we stop fighting ourselves. If we stop having our inner an inner war. So if you're someone who believes that you're very helpful, which is beautiful, be helpful, but if you believe somehow that maybe you grew up in an environment where your mom was like, she was everything to everyone and her needs came last, well, that's probably what you've learned. And you know what we do. It's a monkey see, monkey do. It's what we do. Those are just the ancestral patterns that are being projected onto kids. But now that you are your own person, if you can recognize if this makes sense to you, if it's true for you, now you have the opportunity to change the pattern. But now it's up to you. Now it's up to you. We learned what we learned. It's not about unlearning. Well, that's part of it. It's about learning something new. So maybe it's as simple as learning how to say no when you're used to saying yes, 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 yes. Maybe it's as simple as sitting down one moment and asking your body a question. Okay, body, what do you need from me? And listen. You may not hear a word. You may not hear a sentence. You may get a feeling. Maybe what you need is just fucking 5 minutes of nothing. A lot of people are actually afraid of that. Do you know why? Because when they're with themselves, what happens? Stuff comes up to the surface. But we're not here to run away from ourselves anymore. We are here to face ourselves. This is what it's all about. We're not facing ourselves because we're bad people. We're facing what is not true at the end of the day. If you believe that your needs are not important, of course they're important. Of course they are. They're just as important as everybody else's need. Doesn't mean don't be helpful. Doesn't mean don't do this, don't do that. But you gotta take care of yourself. And we see this a lot with mothers. I mean, that's very prevalent, right? We're not saying don't be helpful, but message is simple. Take care of yourself. And when that starts to happen, thank you. Stop criticizing yourself so much. Okay? We're all very good at the self-critical thing. Doesn't mean you can't change. It doesn't mean you don't have opportunities to change or wish to change, but stop it with the self-criticism, or at least reduce it by 50% and just notice what happens. You know, it's funny because we're often very afraid of other people's criticisms, but it is ourselves that we berate ourselves the most at ourselves. Because if we truly believe that we're okay, do we have room for improvement? Of course. Of course. But if we're okay and we're actually owning it, if someone tells you you're not okay, you know what you're going to do? You're going to say, well, that's your opinion. Doesn't mean we can't take advice. It doesn't mean we can't look to somebody and maybe they have something valuable to offer. But it's not at a cost at erasing ourselves, which is the word that you kept using. Yeah. So that's what I have for you, Libra, and I guess it's one for me too.
Scorpio, has been July recap first. July brought pressure and possibility around career, purpose, leadership, and public identity. The Aquarius full moon may have revealed a truth about home, family, or emotional security that influences your next professional move. August asks you to let your ambition be rooted. The strongest success is built from a life that feels true behind closed doors. Okay, now let's go through the August energy. First up, we've got on August 3, Chiron stationing retrograde in Taurus. This is in your 7th house. Old relationship wounds may become more visible now, especially around rejection, loyalty, compromise, or feeling unseen by the people closest to you. This is a chance to notice where you have accepted less than mutuality. Healing does not require perfect relationships. It requires a more honest relationship with your need. August 12th, we've got that new moon total solar eclipse at 20 degrees Leo. Now, this is in your 10th house. This is on the axis of the 10th and the 4th. This eclipse can mark a major new chapter in career, purpose, reputation, leadership, or public visibility. A professional opportunity, a new direction, or a change in how you want to be known may begin to take shape. Do not hide your authority simply because growth asks you to be seen. You are allowed to build a legacy that reflects your heart. August 23, we've got Sun entering Virgo. This is in your 11th house. Virgo season supports collaboration, networking, strategic planning, and refining your long-term goals. Notice who is consistently showing up. The right allies help you make the future more practical. And then on August 28th, we've got a full moon partial lunar eclipse, and it's at 4 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is the final eclipse in the Pisces-Virgo axis that we've had over the last 18 months. And for you, it's in the 5th house. A creative, romantic, or family chapter reaches emotional fullness. You may complete a project, recognize the truth of a love situation, or feel called to make more room for pleasure and self-expression. Release the need to control how joy arrives. Let your heart lead where it is ready. So a mantra for you, Scorpio, is, I lead from truth, and I allow my purpose to become visible.
Okay, Scorpio. The statement that came through was, I am enough. Do you actually believe it? Or is it something you just pretend to believe? Because if you're just pretending, it'll show up in your life. Healing is not about taking something away from you. It's about stopping the nonsense you keep telling yourself that is not truth. Truth is that you are more than enough. The thing you tell yourself is that you're not. So you can keep telling yourself, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. But if your life constantly shows you the contradictory, your life is responding to your inner world. And we cannot change what the body holds us true by thinking or telling ourselves about it. It's like trying to digest food by thinking about it. Never going to happen. It has to be an embodied experience. So this month, what's the right word? It invites you to allow the inner dragon that is within you to come out and play. Now, dragons are very transformative. So there is a transformation. I almost want to say waiting to happen, but the reason why I say it's waiting to happen, because it's not going to happen to you. It's a co-creative process. You have to allow it. And if you are someone who is very conflicted and your organizing principle is, I am not enough, that is not truth. That is your truth, but it's not the truth. So it says revision. You are literally, you are reconsidering how you see yourself. So whether it's I'm not enough or I'm not worthy or whatever bullshit we tell ourselves, because that's not truth, that's distortion. if we cling on to it as our truth, that's going to be the organizing principle for how we experience our life. It's like a perfect equation. So if you're struggling in life and if you're noticing that it feels like you're being shortchanged all the time, maybe it's worth looking inside and asking, if my life is a reflection of my inner world, what must my inner world telling me about me in order for me to have this experience? Not because you caused it, but because we all come imprinted with different kind of belief systems. And as long as there are belief systems that we hold on to as truth, those are the lenses we will be wearing, and those are the lenses through which we will experience our 3D experience. So telling yourself that you're enough, if you're experiencing something different, is no longer enough, because you cannot shift what's in the body by telling yourself something different. Also, this dragon piece is interesting because whoever you are, and I'm not saying that's all of you, but whoever you are, you have a very, I'll say it differently, you have the ability to help others transform. How? By being an example. By living that yourself. It's a big message. They're not like messages, these. Oh, right. They're not like, but they're very contemplative. They're very like weighty. There's a lot riding on it. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Do you resonate with that at all? Do you resonate with that? With the dragon thing, for sure, yeah.
Dragon push. Sagittarius. Let's do a July recap first. July expanded your horizons and challenged old assumptions about belief, travel, learning, publishing, and spiritual direction. The Aquarius full moon may have brought a revealing conversation or moment of clarity around your voice and your message. August asks you to live the truth you are teaching. Your wisdom becomes more powerful when it is grounded in experience. Okay, now let's look at the August energy. First up, August 3, Chiron stations direct in Taurus. This is in your 6th house. Chiron retrograde may bring old sensitivities around work, usefulness, health, discipline, or feeling that you must constantly improve to deserve a rest. Notice where your routine has become a punishment rather than a support. Healing happens through sustainable habits, not perfection. Care for the body that carries your vision.
That's true.
It was a release for you, Sagittarius. Okay, so that was Chiron retrograde. Now we're going into August 12th, the new moon total solar eclipse at 20 degrees Leo. This is in your 9th house. This eclipse opens a new chapter of expansion, travel, education, teaching, publishing, spiritual study, legal matters, or a bold new worldview may become central. You are being invited to take your own ideas more seriously. Say yes to the path that makes your life larger, even if it asks you to leave familiar territory. August 23, the sun enters Virgo. This is in your 10th house. Virgo season turns your focus toward career, responsibility, reputation, and tangible progress. Organize your goals, revise your strategy, and show your competence through follow-through. The details matter because they help others trust your vision. And then on August 28, we've got a full moon, partial lunar eclipse, and it's at 4 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is the final eclipse on the Pisces-Virgo axis that we've had over the last 18 months. And for you, it's in the 4th house. Home, family, household property, emotional foundations, and belonging reach a point of culmination. A private truth may change how you understand your past or where you want to live next. Give yourself permission to create a home that supports the person you are now, not the person you had to be before. This is so crazy because one of my best friends is Sagittarius rising, and this is speaking directly to her.
Yeah.
Here's a mantra for you, Sagittarius. I trust the path that expands my heart, mind, and my life. What'd you get for Saggy, Joanna?
So it'll be interesting if this resonates with your friend. So I'll just show you the card. The card says perception, and I'll tell you what I got from it. So the obvious is your view of yourself is shifting, or your perception is shifting. And as we've already talked about, once you shift your view of you, your entire world begins to shift because your relationship with you changes, and that shifts your relationship with the rest of the world. What I heard was your third eye is opening, which if we put it in a plain word, it's you're beginning to see the unseen. But I don't necessarily mean like spirits. I mean, that could be, but I don't necessarily mean that. You're beginning to see things you were not able to see before. For example, sometimes you'll see a dynamic with a friend. Let's say you have a friend and the person is in a relationship with somebody, and you're seeing very clearly what the problem is, but they can't see it, right? They can't see it because they're looking from a different perspective. They're not able to see it. Sometimes they don't want to see it. And it feels like you're able to see more of the unseen. Here's the thing. Here's the message. Keep your nose out of other people's business unless they ask you for it. Otherwise, it can be seen or experienced as you infringing on someone else's free will. Being helpful does not mean you have to help everyone. Use your discernment. Sometimes people don't want help. They may just want to vent or find a temporary relief. And I've been in these situations before. I don't do that anymore, not nearly as much, thank God. If I saw something, I would share it, but then it was like the person they don't want to change. They just want to complain, okay? So I've learned to realize, well, if they want me to share something, they'll ask me for it. If they don't, then maybe they just don't want help. Maybe they just want to vent. Maybe so there is just because you can help someone doesn't automatically imply that you should. Because sometimes giving help too early may be experienced as an infringement on their free will. And especially with healer types, you want to heal, want to help. Yeah, people have to be ready for help. Sometimes that's not what they want. They just want to complain, right? So that's a big message. Just because you're seeing something doesn't necessarily mean you have to give it. Using your discernment. And so that's what I have for you. Would that resonate with your friend, do you think?
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Are you really?
Yes, for her. I'm going to tell her you have to listen to them. So there's one real life example right there. So I'm dying to hear from everybody else listening to this. Like, tell us how this resonates for you. Capricorn, let's do a July recap. July brought relationship dynamics into sharp relief, especially around agreements, reciprocity, trust, and what partnership truly requires. The Aquarius full moon may have exposed a financial or self-worth issue beneath the surface of a connection. August asks you to choose intimacy with clearer boundaries. You do not have to abandon yourself to be close. Okay, now let's talk about August. First up, August 3, we've got Chiron stationing retrograde in Taurus. Now, this is going to be in your 5th house. Old wounds around visibility, romance, pleasure, creativity, and feeling special may return for healing. You may feel vulnerable sharing something heartfelt or letting yourself enjoy life without earning it first. Let the tender part of you make art, flirt, play, and experiment. Joy can be the medicine. August 12, we've got the new moon total solar eclipse, and it's at 20 degrees Leo. This is going to be in your 8th house. This eclipse brings a deep transformational chapter around intimacy, shared resources, trust, healing, and emotional power. A financial agreement or relational bond may evolve significantly. Let this be a beginning in honesty. Name the exchange. Address the fear. Choose the kind of support that strengthens rather than entangles you. On August 23, we've got the sun entering Virgo. This is in your 9th house. Virgo season supports planning, study, travel, writing, teaching, and practical steps toward a larger vision. Break the big dream into a workable map. You do not need to know every single mile before beginning the journey. Then on August 28, we've got the full moon partial lunar eclipse, and it's at 4 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is the final eclipse on the Pisces-Virgo axis. And for you, it's in the 3rd house. A conversation, a message, learning process, sibling dynamic, or a local situation reaches a turning point. Your voice can carry emotional weight now. So be direct without being harsh. Release mental loops that keep you from acting on what you already know. A mantra for you, Capricorn. I let truth deepen my connections and strengthen my life. What'd you get for the Cappies, Joanna?
Oh, let me just see. Okay. If you're Capricorn, chances are that it feels like you're running in circles. And if that's the case for you, and when you run in circles, you're dizzy, right? If that's the case for you, it's because your view is a bit narrow. So it's about perceptions. Consider there might be a different way of looking at something. With each different perception come new opportunities and choices you may not have seen before. Listen to what someone is telling you. Really hear it. Don't assume you know better. You may, or you may not. Not everything needs to be fixed. Sometimes some situations just have to run its course. And I feel that for Capricorns, there is something that is on its way down, on its way out. Thank you. It feels relational. So there is a relationship for some of you that is on its way out. It could be work relationship, it could be friendship, it could be romantic, it could be just because it's on its way out doesn't mean something is wrong or you've done something wrong. It just means sometimes certain situations serve us. Once they have served that purpose, then something else will come in. And to your point, I don't know who you were talking to. I think it might have been a general message you were saying, the eclipse season. If something is on its way out, generally speaking, let it go. It's not easy. The example she gave, it's not easy. But when you let go of one thing, you're making space for something new. And oftentimes, it's something better. But because we don't know what that is yet, the unknown is what is scary. And a typical example would be, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but that's just an example. Let's say you're in a relationship and it's just like, you've done everything you could and it's just not working. There's no point holding on to something that's no longer working. If you've tried your best, then maybe the situation has served you. You've learned from it all you needed to learn, and you'll continue to learn. And thank you. Let it go with grace. Let it go with grace. Okay, let me just see if there is a card that wants to pop through. Right. Please don't repeat the same old, same old, same old, same old. Isn't that the, what's the word, Biz? The definition of sanity is doing something over and over and over again and expecting something different. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. Do you know any Capricorn? You do? Oh, really? Okay. Cute. You're so cute. Okay. Enough said. Oh,
Aquarius. First, let's do a July recap. July asked you to reconsider health, boundaries, and the daily structures that support your well-being. The Aquarius full moon may have made a personal truth impossible to ignore. You are changing, and your life needs to reflect that. August asks you to let relationships meet the real you, not the version of you that keeps the peace. August 3, Chiron stations retrograde in Taurus. This will be in your 4th house. So, house, home, property, family memories, ancestral patterns, childhood pain, or questions of emotional safety may surface. This is a private healing cycle, and you may need more quiet time than usual. Pay attention to what home means in your body. You are allowed to create boundaries with the past while still honoring what shaped you. On August 12, we've got the new moon total solar eclipse, and it's at 20 degrees in Leo. This is going to be in your 7th house. A significant new cycle begins in partnership, collaboration, contracts, and one-to-one relationships. Someone new may enter. An existing bond may transform, or you may become clear about the kind of commitment you are available for. Let this eclipse teach you that connection is not meant to dilute your identity. The right partnership makes you feel like yourself. On August 23, the sun enters Virgo. This is going to be in your 8th house. Virgo season invites honest attention to shared finances, taxes, debt, intimacy, and emotional agreements. Handle the practical details with care, but do not avoid the deeper conversation. Clarity creates safety. And then on August 28, we've got the full moon partial lunar eclipse, and it's at 4 degrees of Pisces. Now, this is the final eclipse on the Pisces-Virgo axis, and for you, it's in the 2nd house. A chapter around income, values, self-esteem, or material security reaches a turning point. You may see clarity about what is worth investing in and what drains you. Release scarcity-based choices. Your resources grow more wisely when your decisions match your values. So a mantra for you in August is, I welcome relationships that honor both my freedom and my heart.
Ooh, that beautifully aligns with what I received. So I wrote something first and a kind card popped out and I thought, oh, that's brilliant. So I'm going to go in that order. The image I had for Aquarius, and this is a metaphor, I saw you with the key to a brand new home. Now, for some of you, this may literally be a key to a brand new home over the next several months. But to me, it symbolizes a brand new phase is on a horizon. This is big for some of you. It's really big. You're in a threshold. A threshold is the space between the old and the new, right? So you're in this threshold. If you're afraid, it's okay. It's because it's still unfamiliar. So this is what came to me, and this often happens, and I've seen this with clients so many times. Oftentimes, the very thing we desire, we are deeply afraid of because it's unfamiliar. For example, if we grew up in an environment where it felt unsafe, and you got yourself into relationships and then you always felt unsafe, but ultimately you want safety, because who doesn't? If feeling unsafe has been your home and now safety becomes your home, you know what your nervous system says to that? What the fuck do I do with that? Can I trust it? Self-sabotage is a perfect example of that. We ask for something, it appears, and then some part of it goes, no, push it away. Because whatever that is represents something unfamiliar, even though it's something we deeply desire. So I felt a relationship-wise here for some Aquarius, and often also other opportunities. That card that came out is called potential. You are full of potential. We all are, but you are full of potential and you're coming out. There's another aspect of you here that has been hidden from the view. You're coming out. Yeah. And another way to say it, if someone has been used to holding themselves back, they cannot experience life to the fullest because they're closed off. They don't have the capacity. In order to experience more, they have to create room. In order to create room, they have to move beyond their own inner confinements. That's called identity death. And whenever identity is threatened, it freaks out, right? But we all hold on to, identity that is limited. So you are obviously have been doing some inner work. Otherwise, this wouldn't be coming into your life, because it's a co-creative process. If you were closed off, no opportunities would come to you, generally speaking. But this is saying something different. This is saying, whatever this is for some of you, and it's big, you've waited for this for a really long time. Now that it arrived, it might scare the shit out of you. That's okay. It's only because it's unfamiliar. Wow, I feel very excited about this for Aquarius. I don't know what it is, but it feels very excited. Do you know any Aquarians?
It's ringing huge bells, and I hope that for her.
Oh, I hope so. Oh, that's beautiful.
Last, but certainly never ever least, Pisces. First, let's do a July recap. July emphasizes joy, creativity, romance, children, and the courage to take your own desires seriously. The Aquarius full moon may have revealed an inner pattern, an ending, or an energetic drain that needs release before you can move forward. August asks you to make your life more livable. Your dreams need rhythms, boundaries, and care in order to become real. Okay, now let's get into August. First up, August 3, we've got Chiron stationing retrograde in Taurus. This will be in your third house. Chiron retrograde brings healing around communication, learning, being understood, and trusting your own voice. Old experiences of being dismissed, misunderstood, or made to feel unintelligent may surface. Speak anyway, but do not force yourself to explain everything to everyone. Your words become medicine when they are rooted in self-trust. The August 12 new moon total solar eclipse is at 20 degrees of Leo, and this is in your 6th house. This eclipse begins a new chapter in work, health, routine, service, and your daily life. You may begin a new job, you may change your schedule, adopt a supportive practice, or recognize that your body needs a different kind of care. Build systems that serve your humanity. Your life changes when your everyday choices become more intentional. August 23, we've got the sun entering Virgo, and this is impacting your 7th house. Virgo season brings relationships, collaborations, commitments, and agreements into focus. You may need to clarify expectations, renegotiate a dynamic, or ask more directly for what you need. Partnership. I'm writing that word. Literally right. Writing that words. You're literally. Partnership grows through honest attention. And then August 28th, we've got the full moon, partial lunar eclipse at 4 degrees Pisces. This is the final eclipse in the Pisces Virgo axis. You've been feeling it, haven't you, Pisces? So yes, this is in your first house. This eclipse is deeply personal. A cycle of identity.
Tell me about it.
Confidence or self-definition reaches a culmination, reaching how much you have changed over these 18 months. You may be ready to release an old image of yourself that no longer fits. Let yourself be witnessed in your evolution. You are not here to remain who you were. Here's your mantra, Pisces. I honor my sensitivity, and I choose a life that supports my becoming. Joanna, you've been getting the same messages, I think.
Well, because it's also my North Node, I believe,
Yes,
right?
it is.
It was interesting what came through because it absolutely aligns. If this resonates, if you're Pisces and you've done some work, inner work, you will likely feel this, if not in August, then down the line. And here's the message. Finally, you have arrived. Not because you reached the destination, but because you have profoundly reorganized what you hold as your true north. This arrival is significant because it signifies a brand new beginning of the way you not only see yourself, but how you show up in the world. Life is for the taking. Take what you need, but don't take more than what you need. Otherwise, you're participating in lack consciousness. 2 cards came through. One is called renewal. The other one is unity. And what came through me right away is you are more at peace with yourself. Mic drop. That's all I'm going to say.
New baseline.
Thank you. Thank you. New baseline. And I'm actually lost for words because when you...
It impacts you big time.
Yeah, right. But when you feel it in your bones, not just in your... It's earth-shattering in the best possible way because it redefines who you think you are. It redefines who you think you are. It doesn't change you. It reminds you what has always been underneath the layers of what we call human conditioning. I call that present. Some call it soul. Some call it... To me, the word came with presence. Your present has no agenda. It is not loud. It doesn't compete. It doesn't compare. It doesn't have an ego. It just is complete. It's complete. Does that mean we get rid of our ego? No, it's not about that. It's about shifting relationship we have to that aspect of who we already are. Because most humans are disconnected from it, except we can't really be disconnected from it. We can only experience our disconnection when we identify with, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I can't that. It's part of human experience. That may still be there, but it's no longer your organizing principle. And that's fucking transformation. Not in your head, lived experience, completely different animal. It's not something you can teach someone. You can guide them through the process, but it's not something you can teach because it's not a theory. It's not a concept. Yeah. So I love it.
Beautiful, because that new baseline, that the Barbeau basket, as we dubbed it,
Uh-huh.
the beautiful astrology of mid-July to end of July gave us a new baseline. It raised the vibes, if you will,
Mhm.
so that these new choice points that are going to be coming in and out in August, we're going to have a new baseline to make our decisions. And I think it's beautiful. And I see it. I've seen it with your messages through the 12 signs, just from the people in my own life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Of course, I'm listening for myself as well.
Yeah.
It's just like the messages are so beautiful. Just keeping that baseline, at the new version of ourselves, not going back to the old scarcity stuff. I think
Yeah.
we've all got it. We've all got it. We've all
Yeah.
received this embodiment, up leveling, if you will.
Yeah. Up leveling. What is interesting is that I was thinking about it the other day, especially modern spirituality favors the intellect. So we go vertical, right? We go up, we accumulate information. We call that ascension. But then what happens is descension, when all that has to drop into the body. And when that drops into the body, it starts to, well, come in contact with all the stuff that has always been there that's contradictory to what we know. And then that starts to come up to the surface. Because it needs to be released, it needs to be alchemized. I always say, we've talked about it before, doctor doesn't heal you, he creates or she creates conditions whereby healing can take place. I don't heal a person, I don't do anything to a person, I don't take away anything from a person. I create conditions whereby reorganization begins to take place. By reorganization, it doesn't mean I take stuff away from people. It means now the nervous system has more capacity to move what has been suppressed, stuck, and unseen, so that it can move out. That's the analogy. That's alchemy. That's what that is. It's not about getting rid of anything. It's moving the energy through the system. That's why I always say, true transformation that is lasting in its nature is uncomfortable, because we are literally needing to teach our nervous system new way of surviving or thriving. And if we have been organized by survival fears, entering something different, it's like it's unknown, it's scary. We have to move beyond what has felt uncomfortable, even if the comfortable was something that wasn't serving us, because it was known, because it's familiar. That's why
30-year-old best friend that
exactly
you really don't want to say goodbye to, and you know how to tap dance and keep the relationship going.
familiar.
You really know you shouldn't be tap dancing anymore.
That's exactly it, because it's familiar. So beautiful messages.
And with it, accept it. If it leaves, say goodbye and don't chase it.
Yeah. And we're both saying none of us are saying that it's easy process. No. And
that's what eclipse season does.
Yeah. And I will, for the sake of repeating, I think it's worth repeating. If anybody ever says to you, transformation is easy, then they don't know what transformation is. True transformation asks a lot of us. It asks us to be honest with ourselves. It asks us to be present through the discomfort without ejecting, over spiritualizing, over analyzing, blaming, whatever else that we humans do, because it's easier to project the feeling out than to sit with it. It's not about getting rid of anything. It's about being present with what is. And yeah, it's not comfortable. I help people through that process to make it a little bit easier, but I don't take discomfort away. Who the hell am I to take somebody's discomfort away? I'm not in their skin. I don't know what choices they're going to make. If a person chooses to do the same thing over and over and over again, knowing that that's not what they should do, then who the hell am I or me or you to tell them otherwise? Their free will is their choice. Yeah. So that was good.
Happy August, everyone.
Yeah.
The season is here. So share in the comments if you're rising, sun, moon, North Node, stellium, resonated, because when I was hearing, the messages were really resonant. So we'd love to hear.
Mhm.
Well, if you have a question for us you'd like to
Mhm.
us to discuss on the podcast, please do share that. There's a link below.
Yes.
Tells you where to send an email to demystifyingdivinity@gmail.com.
And of course,
And yes, if you want to know all about Joanna's Peru retreat, that information is below as well.
yeah. And I think that's it. Okay, guys. Can't believe sorry, all this. We look forward to seeing you again. Let us know in the comments how this resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate with you right now, just kind of put it on the shelf. No big deal. Even for me, when these messages come, I listen to it later and I go, oh, that's what it meant, because I don't know.
Yeah. Do it later.
Yeah. So much love to all of you. Take care of yourself. Take care of your own needs. Be loyal to yourself first and foremost. Don't betray yourself as best as you can, little bit at a time. Every time you make a loving choice towards yourself, you're teaching your nervous system that being you is okay. Doesn't mean everybody's going to be happy, though. Some people will not be happy. That's okay. You're not here to manage their unhappiness. Many of us have learned how to do that very, very well, myself included, but I'm not doing that as much anymore. So. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. We look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, take care. Bye.